There were photographs and footage of Meghan in Paris. What was she wearing and why was she there?
I don't think Meghan even knows why she was there. She looked like she'd been lobotomized the entire time.
So Meghan Markle thought Paris Fashion Week was going to be her big moment. You know, the flashing bulbs, the gasps, the whole Diana 2.0 vibe she loves to push. But Paris wasn't having it. She walked in ready for all the attention, but what she got was silence. And if you know Paris, silence isn't classy, it's shade.
Now let's have a look at Meghan Markle being weird and inauthentic. Here she is swanning around like she's Queen Cersei in Game of Thrones.
On the surface, the photos looked glamorous. Meghan strutting in her black heels, chin up like she owned the city, but inside, people were whispering. Stylists saying the air went cold the moment she walked in. Editors avoiding her like she was contagious. Paparazzi bored out of their minds.
She was dressed in sort of many neutral colors, which is hilarious because the entire time she was in the royal family, she was lamenting about the fact that she couldn't wear bright colors.
That was just the start, because what Paris gave Meghan wasn't a crown, it was a reality check, and by the end of the week, she wasn't the star of Fashion Week, she was the punchline.
Would you mind taking my
It's so cringe to watch, isn't it? So awkward.
Now, here's the thing about Paris Fashion Week. When a star walks in, you feel it. The air changes. People lean in. Editors scramble for selfies. Even the paparazzi get louder. But when Meghan Markle walked into Balenciaga's show, the air didn't lift, it dropped. Stylists whispered later that the whole room went cold. No hugs, no kisses, no "so good to see you." Just eyes following her, measuring her, judging her. And that silence, it was heavy. Like everyone had agreed she wasn't worth the effort. Even the paparazzi, who usually can't get enough of a royal, looked bored. Those shots they got were flat, like they knew the moment wasn't worth fighting over. Editors kept their distance too. One insider said it best, quote, "Nobody wanted to be caught standing too close." Ouch.
This is not the "I'm gonna save the world" Meghan that I envisioned. This is the "I'm a celebrity, I'm desperate for a photo, I want to be in the limelight."
And here's where it gets messy. Meghan was strutting around in Balenciaga, posting behind the scenes like she was back on top, but this is the same brand accused of promoting child exploitation. The same week, she was gearing up to accept an award for protecting children online. You literally cannot make this up. The hypocrisy practically wrote itself. Paris saw it. The conversations weren't just about her outfit or her walk, they were about the contradiction standing in front of them. Meghan wanted to walk in as the new Diana. Instead, she walked in as the woman cozying up to Balenciaga while preaching child safety. And in a city that thrives on reading between the lines, that kind of contradiction isn't overlooked, it's ridiculed.
Slamming Meghan for this, calling her the Duchess of Hypocrisy for attending Balenciaga's show, seeing as there was a lot of controversy around this brand and an ad that was seen as quite creepy that involved children.
Now, if the cold reception in the front row wasn't enough, the whispers backstage were even worse. And in fashion, gossip spreads faster than perfume. People started talking about her smell, and yes, I do mean her smell. One stylist swore it was cheap perfume layered over nerves. Another joked the glam team looked like they'd emptied half a can of spray just trying to mask it. And here's the thing, Paris forgives a lot. Scandal? Sure. Attitude? Sometimes. But bad hygiene? That's social exile. Nobody wants to be the person everyone avoids for, well, obvious reasons. Then came the clothes. At first glance, Meghan looked polished, like she belonged. But insiders spilled the truth. Those Balenciaga pieces weren't gifted couture. They were borrowed samples, straight off the rack, tags still attached. No tailoring, no custom touches, just wear it, return it, and in Paris, that says everything. Because when fashion houses believe in you, they shower you with free pieces. They want your aura attached to their brand. Rihanna gets it, Zendaya gets it, but Meghan, she didn't make the cut. One stylist summed it up with a laugh. Balenciaga didn't crown her, they tolerated her.
That's what I mean. I mean, I didn't see any of the collection. I feel like if I was the designer, I'd actually be quite frankly upset because none of that got coverage. It did turn into the Meghan show, as everything does.
There was a couple of videos you mentioned about earlier. I know there was one that she posted.
That backstage reality clashed hard with the image Meghan tried to project. The big smile, the chin raised, like she was untouchable. But Paris insiders aren't fooled by fake confidence. They know when someone's being embraced and when someone's being politely shuffled along. Meghan wasn't sitting on a throne. She was just holding onto borrowed clothes, hoping no one noticed the tags. Spoiler alert, everyone did.
It doesn't work for you to shoulders back, breasts out, headlights going, head up, and try to look as bitchy as possible and stride.
Now, if Meghan thought the whispers about her perfume and borrowed clothes were bad, nothing compared to the stunt that had Paris buzzing. Because when she left the Balenciaga show, Meghan didn't just head back to her hotel. No, she drove straight through the Pont de l'Alma tunnel, the same one where Princess Diana lost her life.
Riding in a limo with her feet up near the Parisian tunnel where Princess Diana died. Kinsey, is that criticism a little bit unfair?
At first, her team rushed to spin it. She didn't know, they said, just coincidence apparently. But let's be honest, this is Meghan Markle we're talking about, the woman who studied Diana's funeral like it was homework. Friends have said she's obsessed with royal biographies, underlining every detail, and suddenly she doesn't know? Please. Paris wasn't buying it, and neither was the internet. Within hours, TikTok edits popped up. Meghan's car cruising through the tunnel spliced with Diana's final drive, haunting music layered over the clips. Twitter threads exploded. Some called it bold, but most called it manipulative, and the comments were brutal. It's one thing to admire Diana, one fan wrote. It's another to cosplay her tragedy. That post alone reportedly racked up thousands of likes.
I don't think so. I think it's a flagrant dismissal of Harry's trauma. I mean, if she knew anything and if she read his book, she would know just how sensitive that area of Paris is for him. I mean, there's a passage in Spare.
Paris, of all cities, wasn't going to let that slide. To Parisians, Diana's memory is sacred. The Pont de l'Alma isn't a backdrop for PR games. Local tabloids questioned Meghan's motives. International outlets tiptoed around it, saying they couldn't accuse but couldn't dismiss either. And that hesitation, well, it only fueled the fire. People even dragged Harry into it. If this is the same man who cries talking about that tunnel, how could he let his wife treat it like a photo op? The side-by-side edits made him look devastated while Meghan posed her way through Paris. It was messy and cruel. For critics, this wasn't about fashion anymore. It was about obsession. Meghan tying herself to Diana over and over, hoping some of that sympathy would rub off. But the irony, instead of admiration, it just reminded everyone of the comparison she can never live up to. Diana was authenticity. Meghan is imitation, and Paris saw the difference instantly.
Passage in Spare, where he does talk about asking his driver to go into that tunnel at 65 miles per hour just to feel the feeling Diana felt right before the crash. And it was quite a poignant passage among some other things in that book. But he was really affected by that. And for her to put her weird feet up on the which people also have opinions about, putting feet up on the car, is really disrespectful. I mean, that's a very special area for him.
For years, Meghan's whole story has been the press destroyed me. The tabloids were evil, the cameras were cruel, history was repeating itself with Harry as Diana's tragic witness. She said it so many times that it's practically her brand, but Paris reminded everyone of the details she'd rather bury. Who really cashed in on Diana's final moments? It wasn't just the British tabloids, it was CBS, the same American network that bought and broadcast the haunting images of Diana's last hours. And yet, where did Meghan and Harry sit down for their explosive tell-all? With Oprah on CBS.
Accepting an award as Humanitarian of the Year on Thursday for protecting children online. She shouldn't be promoting a brand accused of predatory behavior.
The contradiction hit people like a slap in the face. You can't cry about press exploitation, then cozy up with the network that turned Diana's death into primetime gold. It's hypocrisy carved in high definition. Fans online pulled receipts, side-by-sides of CBS's old coverage next to Meghan's tearful interview. The captions were savage. She blames the tabloids but works with the company that showed Diana's last breaths. And Paris made that crack in her image impossible to ignore. Because hypocrisy doesn't age well in a city obsessed with authenticity. Diana had nothing to hide. Meghan's contradictions keep piling up, and the irony is that the very stunt that was supposed to prove she's Diana's only heir only exposed her as the opposite. Diana was a victim of the press. Meghan is in bed with them.
That is what the kids call a sweaty tryhard. It's obvious. I can see you're trying. I feel uncomfortable. I have kind of secondhand embarrassment for you. If you can't pull it off naturally, please don't try. Please just walk out like a normal person would walk. Otherwise, everything about you, as per usual with this gal, is alienating.
Here's another thing Paris dragged back into the spotlight. Meghan's big speeches, those inspirational words she delivers at events. Yeah, insiders say most of them are ghostwritten. Staffers claimed her projects recycle old ideas, like she's just grabbing whatever sounds good and slapping her name on it. One even described her as demanding without direction. Basically, she loves the spotlight but can't decide what to do once she's standing in it. And Paris only made that worse. The city that crowns icons looked at her and saw nothing but an empty surface. The glossy smile, the chin lifted high, the couture strut. But peel it back and it's empty. The image was all she had. The photos that went viral weren't glamorous cover shots, they were her standing alone in crowded lobbies, surrounded by flashing cameras but with no peers and no real friends in the room. That's where the memes came in. Empty chair energy, borrowed couture, little daggers dressed up as jokes. For a woman trying to build her brand on being inspirational, Paris exposed the truth. She's not leading anything. She's posing, and when the pose ends, there's not much left. Just whispers, borrowed clothes, and an audience that's laughing instead of clapping.
Would you mind taking my picture? Thank you.
Oh, yes, that was awkward. Let's have another look at it.
Paris has a way of making its verdict clear, and when it came to Meghan, the verdict was brutal, because while other stars were embraced, she was left standing in the cold. Look at who shared that week's spotlight. Rihanna swept in wrapped in couture like it was made just for her. Zendaya glowed and hugged by designers who couldn't get enough. Even Kim Kardashian had the Balenciaga creative team orbiting her like bees around honey. And then there was Meghan, sitting stiff in borrowed samples like she'd snuck in with someone else's invite.
How are you protecting children when you are promoting a brand that was accused of inappropriate behavior towards them?
The comparisons went viral fast. Side-by-sides of Meghan next to Rihanna or Zendaya flooded feeds. The captions were savage. One read, "One of these women was chosen." The other borrowed the invite. Then hashtag, "empty chair energy" stuck like glue. Paris didn't just reject Meghan's fashion, it rejected her symbolism. Critics spelled it out plainly. Diana was authenticity in motion. Meghan is a simulation frozen in still frames. Paris could see the difference, and once people saw her parading near that tunnel, the backlash only hit harder. Paris wasn't just saying no to Meghan's outfit, it was saying no to her whole act. And in a city built on icons, being dismissed as an imitation isn't just embarrassing, it's fatal.
I mean, that's a very special area for him, and in not a good way. And I think she butchered it.
I get it. I felt it was clumsy. I just felt it was clumsy. I don't think it was deliberate, and it was a bit short-sighted rather than anything deliberate.
She should have known. She should know that stuff if she claims to love him so much.
By the end of Fashion Week, Meghan wasn't walking away with applause, she was walking away with silence, and in Paris, silence is the loudest insult. The fashion houses had made up their minds. They weren't chasing her, and they weren't even curious. Doors that once cracked open for her are now firmly shut. One PR insider whispered that no brand wanted to take the risk. Being seen too close to Meghan wasn't chic, it was dangerous. And that right there is a disaster in an industry built on alliances. When you're iced out in Paris, it doesn't stay in Paris because Hollywood takes notes. Streaming execs take notes. Even her so-called supporters online started flipping, saying maybe the monarchy had been right about her all along. She came to Paris expecting validation. What she left with was humiliation, and once Paris turns its back, the rest of the world usually follows.
Who is guiding this woman? Who is working with this woman? Because you certainly wouldn't see the Princess of Wales engaging with any company accused of such behavior.
Paris was supposed to be Meghan's big reset. The moment she proved she still had that star power, but what the city gave her wasn't admiration, it was a mirror. And the reflection wasn't pretty. Instead of applause, she got whispers. Instead of an embrace, she got distance. Instead of being crowned, she was tolerated. Paris peeled back the layers of her image and showed the world the cracks, the contradictions, the hypocrisy, and the desperation. Meghan came chasing Diana's legacy, but what she walked away with was humiliation, memes, and silence. And silence in Paris, as we've said, is fatal. So, if this is what one city can do with a borrowed outfit and one bad week, just imagine what Hollywood will do when the spotlight shifts back. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe because Meghan is not even remotely done. You don't want to miss out on her next drama.